Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you.
Well, hi there, Cindy Dole here. This is the second hour of Home Wizards, your radio home for all things home, garden, and life improvement. This is the place where I hope you can turn to and just be inspired with new ideas, little ways, big ways, whatever it is. You like to do it yourself, you prefer to hire it done. It can be as simple as just getting a stencil and putting on a pumpkin, and then all of a sudden you've got this very cool decoration for the oncoming holidays of Halloween. You know, all that can be done. So thanks for hanging out with me. You can keep the number handy, too. I hope if you have a question, you're always welcome to join in and participate. The number is 888-KFWB-980, 888-539-2980. And I hope you always go to the website, too, because throughout the week, you know, the fun continues. We're always talking about things about the home and the garden, and I invite you to go to cindydole.com. You can join the forum and the chat where we have questions and answers. You can share projects and all that kind of good stuff. And, of course, you can also follow us on Facebook. We always have great tips and things going on throughout the week, so it isn't just on Saturday. It's really 24/7, so check that out. Coming up very soon, we're going to continue our conversation with Better Homes and Gardens, more great ways to really transform your home for the Halloween. But then a little bit later on, we're going to head to the garden, too, and talk with a guy whose job is such a cool job. He has been so blessed to work all over the world and whipping up these amazing landscapes that have such a magical look to it. I mean, how could it not if one of your jobs was to do up Disney properties? Can you believe it? I mean, he's designed gardens for Johnny Carson and Bob Hope and on it goes. So we're going to talk with him and learn about how to get those gardens that are truly of kings and queens. And maybe you don't have the king and queen budget. What goes into it and how can we copy that? So we're going to get to that in a little bit. But first, let's head back to Halloween fun because it is kind of getting to be that season. It doesn't feel like it right outside right now, but you know what? It's coming and we're getting you ready. Ah, yes, dark shadows. Now, you know, I love Halloween, and so we're going to be every week talking about fun things you can do to decorate, and then on the eve of Halloween, we're going to have some ghost experts because do you think that your home is haunted? That's going to be coming up very soon. But with me right now is talking about just making your home look like it could be haunted. Just the fun things you can do to bring the Halloween spirit. A gal who's every day working on the 100 Days of Holidays tied to Better Homes and Gardens, Alicia Warden. So, Alicia, how do you come up with great ideas year after year?
We have a lot of creative minds behind the 100 Days of Holidays program. Just a lot of our editors bouncing ideas off of each other and just, being inspired by things readers send in. Also, just taking trips to like a craft store or, your local hobby store is a great way to get inspired and, see what's out there, see what you can do. Well,
and you bring up a good point. I mean, the craft stores, the hobby stores, those places, I mean, heck, even Big Lots. I mean, I just love trying these different places where it's really inexpensive and you don't even have to go to the store. You can get things that you find in your yard or at the park, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's another thing that's great about the Halloween season is you can do the spooky, scary decorations, but you can also do more harvest-themed things, like with leaves or plain pumpkins and just all kinds of different natural elements.
So let's start with the outside because we talked a bit about the pumpkin with the stencils and the etching and so forth. What are some other essential things that we should think of just for our front patio, our front entryway, because that's what everyone's going to see?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're leaning more towards the harvest-type decorations, one of my favorite ideas is loading up an old kid's wagon or a wheelbarrow with all kinds of different bigger pumpkins and gourds and things like that, and then painting a welcome message on a couple of them, to say welcome friends or welcome harvest. So that's a great thing to put in your front yard next to where people are going to be walking in or, on your front porch.
Yeah. And I guess you could paint the wagon too.
Yep. You could do that.
What about using candles or, artificial man-made candles or luminaries or things that along those lines? It seems like the lighting creates so much of a mystique for your fall harvest and your Halloween decor.
Yep, it does, especially, on trick-or-treat night or, if you're hosting an evening Halloween party, lining your walkway with luminaries is a great thing to do. It kind of, sets the tone for your party. You could do that with a bunch of different pumpkins. Use those as your luminaries. Carve maybe a design and a bunch of pumpkins and put candles inside and use it to use the group of pumpkins to line your walkway and bring people into the party.
And I'm looking at your website right now, bhg.com, and you have a fun little section where you're talking about creating an eerie entrance. And if you recall that particular little article or blog, you're showing how to use a florist foam and then make it look like it's a head, or it's a pumpkin or something, and you can spray paint it. Is that something you'd suggest we give it a go?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Also, like setting a scene type thing.
Like a cemetery almost.
Yep, like a cemetery, or you can set some witches' brooms on near your front door with a pair of pointy shoes, so it looks like a witch has been there. It's another idea.
And I always am curious what will be the hot Halloween costume, because I think that kind of can set the tone for the Halloween decor too, in terms of what's going on in politics or what is happening just trend-wise. Are you getting a sense of what's going to be the it thing this year?
I'm really thinking that Twilight's going to be big.
Twilight.
There's still a big, following for that, so I could see that being big. I don't know. People are so imaginative when it comes to costumes. There's just a million different possibilities.
Well, so if Twilight is the must-have costume, then definitely we need to have almost like a kind of a cemetery in the front yard.
And there's a lot of things you can do to kind of create that look. Carving or cutting a tombstone shape out of plywood and, kind of sticking it in the ground and painting it, like a dark gray and painting it on some clever little saying. Some of my favorite homes to trick or treat at when I was growing up were those homes, those moms and dads that just kind of went all out, and it got to be, you just knew it was going to, that you're not going to get hurt, and it's not really, there's no ghosts there, but you were just taken to the edge, and they would have music outside or narration or something, almost like the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. It was really like multiple effects. And it really creates that Halloween experience.
Yeah, so I went and tried to do something along those lines, and it really is. I need some help. It's not. I went to the store and I got one of these ghosts. It's a little white. It looks kind of like Casper. I mean, it really isn't a scary looking ghost at all. But I thought it'd be so fun because you put it on this cable that can be attached to tree. It goes about 25 feet across, and it's motion and sound censored, and then it has this little audio recording. Whoa. So as we're driving up, you see it, but it's like it's so slow. It's like the poor ghost hasn't had enough calories for the day.
Some sugar from
it needs a little caffeine or something. I don't know, but I'm trying. But anyway, it's a lot of fun to do that. And I think that lights, not only the candle thing, but you see, it's kind of like the Halloween version of Christmas lights. They're like blacky purple.
Then there's orange. I've seen strings of orange lights. That's another great way to, create that look outside your home. Hang them like you would Christmas lights from, your windows or your around your front door.
Absolutely. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about some great things we can do inside to decorate, maybe for your dining room table. And then it's always, I think, a good idea to come up with some of these Halloween decorating tips that can extend you to Thanksgiving, because you feel like you put all this effort in and you don't want it to just, okay, well, there it went. You want it to last a little bit longer. And by the way, I hope you all know the trick if you are going to carve your pumpkin. Someone told this to me long ago, that you put Vaseline in the areas where you've carve the pumpkin, and that will prevent the pumpkin from rotting before it's time. So hopefully then if you get the pumpkin, it'll last through. Thanksgiving, I'm hoping. Anyway, the fun continues. You're listening to Home Wizards, and if you're hearing this and you want to get those stencils for the pumpkins, by the way, where you etch the design and you can download them for free, it's at Better Homes and Gardens website, bhg.com, and on my site too, cindydole.com. We're back in just a bit to talk a little bit more about Halloween decor, and then very soon after that, we're going to talk about landscaping. How do you get the look of a garden for kings and queens? That's next. Cindy Dole, Home Wizards. We're back in just a bit.